It's been likened to a drug, and many are seeing the fun quickly spiral into full-blown addiction. Tonight we look inside Australia's gambling crisis.
Australians love a punt. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a line and too many of us are crossing it.
I'm still paying back $30,000 to ANZ.
It's sort of like a silent killer in a way. We will keep going.
And that's because it's never been easier to get in over your head.
All the bells go off, jackpot. The dopamine hits the brain with the rush of a cocaine hit.
We sold the house where I was living, and that's completely gone.
Tonight, the new calls for an overhaul of Australia's gaming sector.
This is why gambling, I say, in Australia is our blind spot. We look at America and we say it's guns.
And later, how these Australians were able to pull themselves out of gambling hell.
It's just been a huge relief.
I'm going to tell you something that will probably shock you. It shocked me. Australia represents about 0.3% of the world's population. We're a drop in the ocean. But get this, we have close to 20% of the world's pokie machines. Turns out we're the biggest gamblers on earth. We lose $24 billion a year. That's more than 30% higher than the next in line, Singapore.
Sometimes I would lie to my children about why I didn't have money.
Great-grandmother Elizabeth lost count of how much she put through the pokies at the height of her gambling addiction. After her divorce, she was kindly taken in by her best friend. But when the 68-year-old ran out of money, she did the unthinkable to fuel her habit.
One day I lost my wage. I thought the reason I'm not winning is because I haven't got enough money. So I went back home and I stole some of her money.
It's utterly deceptive.
Outgoing World Vision chief advocate and anti-gambling crusader Tim Costello has a fair point. Neuroscience and behavioural psychology experts designed Australian pokie machines with the aim they'd keep people playing longer by encouraging the release of pleasure chemicals in the brain.
And that's why so many people are addicted, and that's why we get so much crime and marriage breakdown.
The pleasure of receiving money is secondary.
Dr. Charles Livingston is an associate professor in the Public Health and Preventative Medicine Department at Monash University.
Many people start the pokies because they think they might win some money, but by the time they get into the full-blown addiction, sadly, they're there because the dopamine hit is what they're after.
Once I had the money in my hand, the urge to go was unbelievable.
Elizabeth now counsels other problem gamblers over the phone.
I know you can't talk to your family.
She was able to kick her habit after attending sessions run by Gamblers Anonymous.
Last year, more money was lost through the pokies here in Western Sydney than any other region in New South Wales. Fairfield City Council recording losses of more than $360 million. The most money was lost here at Mounties in Mount Pritchard. The club has more than 600 pokie machines.
CCTV captured this child playing with one of those machines at Mounties in May last year. The organisation was fined $6,000 over the breach of licensing rules, but the CEO, Dale Hunt, said the outcome would be appealed. The Epping Plaza Hotel in Melbourne's north led the way in pokies losses in Victoria. Brimbank Council was the state's biggest loser, last year recording more than $140 million in losses.
There's no doubt that gambling makes a lot of money for a lot of people. It certainly makes a lot of money for state governments. They get $5 billion a year collectively out of gambling revenue.
Queenslanders lost a staggering $6 million a day to pokie machines in 2018. Brisbane was the worst hit, recording $531 million in losses.
We have to slow the pokies machines down. $1 bet spins, you can still play, maximum $100 losses, so you can't do rapid damage.
In South Australia, more than $680 million was put through the state's pokies. It was much lower in Western Australia, the only state where pokie machines are restricted to casinos. But it's not just pokies costing punters big time.
How would you describe the impact that gambling has had on your life?
To tell you the truth, it's had a massive impact on my life.
Melbourne dad Matthew lost more than $30,000 in just a handful of months gambling at the casino. It contributed to his marriage breakdown. The family home had to be sold, and now the 32-year-old is back living with his parents.
So no, my family didn't know. My friends didn't know. It was all kept very hidden from them.
Matt has since banned himself from entering the casino.
Yeah, so you're on a banned list, so you go to the responsible service at Crown and you put your name down to say that I don't want to set foot in here ever again. I can go to the bars and the restaurants, all that sort of thing, but anything to do with the gaming floor, I'm just not allowed to go inside.
The University of Sydney's Dr. Sally Gainsbury is from the Brain and Mind Centre, which offers treatment for gambling addicts. It's seen great success.
People present for treatment and we involve them in what's called psychoeducation, when we learn about how the gambling outcomes are determined. And we also work on behavioural strategies, so things like actually changing the route home so you're not tempted by walking past a gambling venue.
Besides calling for a pokies overhaul, the Alliance for Gambling Reform is also pushing for major sporting codes to cut ties with sports betting sponsorships.
Young kids look at their heroes and instead of saying they've kicked a goal, I want to be like them, they say, what are the odds of my hero kicking the first goal?
It is possible to stop gambling. If you put in as much work to try and stop gambling as you did to try and go, you'll make it easy. You'll make it. It's possible.
Terrible addiction. We're running a Facebook poll to see if you think we need tighter gambling regulations. 67% of you say yes, 33% no. And you'll find a statement from the gaming machines industry body on our homepage.